First of all, I want to say welcome to everybody. We do these every month for clients and non-clients just to share kind of best practices. One of the things at Workman that makes us a unique company is, I call it the wisdom of our crowd, is we have amazing individuals that are givers and sharers that like to share what's working in their businesses with others. And if you're a Workman client, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a Workman client, this gives you a little bit of a taste of what it feels like to be part of the Workman family, and the kind of people that we not only we attract, but just are so giving and caring. Denise Klein out of Las Vegas, Nevada. She's the team leader with the Klein team. She's the XP in Las Vegas, Nevada. She's also a Workman Success senior coach. She's been in the business almost 40 years. She's in the top 1% of all agents in Las Vegas. There's 1,800 of them. So, she's selling some houses. She's involved in her community, helping agents build and accelerate their businesses. She's an instructor for post-licensing, where she teaches new agents during their first year in the industry. She believes there's a system for everything. And if you follow the system, that you have a much higher likelihood of success. Denise, thank you for being here. I love that you're here.
Oh, Verl, it's so great to hear. I mean, you hear those and you're like, wow. When you say 40 years, it sounds a little different than 38. So just pointing out 4 decades into this industry, and here we are, right?
I know, right? I was thinking about 40 years. I don't think I've done anything for 40 years except live. Like that's, I've consistently done that for over 50 years.
That's awesome. I always tell this joke. I'm like, hey, I've been in the business 50 years. And that's because my mom was in real estate. So I have 10 years as a child, a product of a real estate agent. So it's all I've ever known.
I'm going to throw you a curve. So we have a topic today, but our marketing team has been having a little bit of fun on Instagram, and they're running a promotion that says ask Verl anything. And if somebody posts their question, then there's a chance that we're going to bring it up live on the next webinar and just talk about it. So I have a question. And so let's have a discussion about this question, and then we'll get into our topic. Here's the question. You ready for it?
Yep, let's go.
Do you have tiered incentives for agents as they close more business? So what type of tiered incentives should agents get for closed business?
Yeah, we do have tiered. So we are Workman Success compliant. So meaning our buyer's agents are 50-50 and then 70-30 on listings. However, on their 25th transaction, it goes to 55-45. I'm not sure actually, as I'm sitting here looking at my coach, if that is Workman compliant or not, but that is what is going down. And then, inspired by Christy Buck, a master coach here at Workman Success that has agents on her team that are pushing over 50 transactions. So when we get to that 51 transaction, it goes from to 40, 60% to the agent, 40% to the team. So yes, we do have tiered. But we do also charge full commissions. So we don't do any type of discounting.
And everybody's welcome to do whatever they want to we don't ever want to be the company that gets in trouble for talking about pricing. So we just, whatever you charge, I hope you deliver the value that is equal to that. I'll tell you one thing. So when we talk about tiered structure, let me give you the Workman way.
Okay.
So the Workman way is for the first 2 transactions in a month, a buyer's agent would get 40%. So 40-60 on the first 2 deals they do in a month. And then the second 2 deals, 45-55. And so those are deals 3 and 4. And on deals 5+, they get 50-50. We want our team leaders to run their business at a 50% gross profit after the cost of sale. And so if you start your agents on a 50-50, and then you pay all of the lead generation, admin costs, marketing, overhead, then you're actually running on a lower margin than 50%. And it's very difficult. Your job as a leader, and I'll share this with everybody, is to create stability and security for your team. And that means you've got to be profitable. People will leave you if they don't feel like you have a stable and secure environment. And so we have to create stability and security. We do that by structuring things in the right way. You talked about Christy. So this is a great question. So you talked about Christy and her tiered program. What she did this year, she decided that we would create different level of agents. So like a diamond agent has different levels of benefits they get. They start getting additional support, their own assistant, a listing partner. And Denise, I think you said that backwards. You said a listing partner gets 70-30, it's 30-70.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. And so what happens is when you start getting to that 70, 80 listings in a year, then we let that listing partner start building their team within the team. So they have other opportunities to create growth. So when you start getting into that, 500 and 600 transactions, you'll
Right.
start to see new dynamics that happen on a team, and we have to start being creative. And so we have folders. I call it my secret folders that coaches have access to, that when you start getting into those kind of complex discussions, that we can reach into what our other team leaders have done and apply that to help you build that. So thank you for answering that. That was great.
It's interesting, as you sit there and you have that conversation, at work, when was the very first time that I actually saw team leaders that were having teams that had agents that had so much value in the team that they would stay even when they were hitting 30, 40, 50 transactions, because culturally in our industry, people believed, or I believed, that they would want to go and launch themselves. And being in this organization has proven time over time to me that really why you join a team has very little to do with compensation and more about the culture that you create and the opportunity for people to make more money and have more time and live the life that they want to. And doing those kind of numbers as an individual agent is time sucking, and we all know very painful.
Most of the agents that join our teams don't even believe that it's possible to do those kinds of numbers, because a lot of experiences have taught them that it's not realistic. But then when they start seeing other people that are performing at a higher level and they have more free time, they want to know how and why. And so when you talk about culture, I think that's really cool. People will join you because they believe you're going to give them something they don't get somewhere else, but they stay with you because of the culture you build. So talk to me about your culture, and you can tell me when to advance slides. So talk to me about your culture and your culture of accountability.
Sure. So my career, I spent a large percentage of the first part of it in the title and escrow industry, running national operations, having the opportunity to work with broker owners. Really back in the 80s, teams weren't something that were very dynamic like they are today. So thousands and thousands of brokers, owners, single agents, some teams, and looking at them and saying, why do they exist? What's the value proposition? And because I was in title and escrow, had the chance to help people grow their real estate businesses. And then we do title insurance together. So I've seen thousands of different reasons why someone has a team. And the first time in 2003, when I got into real estate, I took my first attempt at a team and I failed. I mean, I really thought this isn't that hard. Like, hire some people, have them follow you around, do what you do, and they'll create results. I'm sure you're probably giggling. I can't see your face right now, Verl, but I'm not alone in that thought. And as the market began to crash, that obviously was not a sustainable concept. And I left the industry for just a few years. I went in and built a coaching and consulting company of my own that I didn't work anything in real estate. I worked with UNLV, United Way, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And through all that, I kind of discovered the same thing, that this thing about vision, there was something to it. The companies, at a company level, to move it forward, the more clear the company became on why they existed. And so in 2014, I took my second attempt at building a team, and I built it side by side with my team leader. At that point was Julie Brown. And I interviewed 15 team leaders, and honest to goodness, not one of them I would have worked for. Not one of them had the vision that I could see my talent getting into. So the very first thing I would say to everyone that's on this call is whether you're a single agent or a broker owner or anywhere in between, what is your vision? And the bigger that vision is, that drives, in my opinion, culture. And so the bigger my vision is, the more talented people will come in. And the opposite has been true in my business. When I've had a smaller vision, when the market has shrunk and I wasn't doing as well, I would feel smaller. And so the very first thing was to culture is vision. So for example, I worked with our team 5 years ago on the vision for the Klein team NV, and we collaboratively put this together because what I realized as a team leader is I am not alone. And so our vision is to educate and empower our community and our clients. We use real estate as a path to build wealth and achieve dreams. So when I put that vision into place, I can use that as now a filter for people to come in. And we started to look, and, my culture may not be the culture that is the same for everyone, but it's the same for the people. It works for the people that are coming into my team. And our culture is first God. And as I say that, it doesn't matter to me what your God is, but I'm going to speak of it. It's very important to me. And so it's important that that person that's on my team, that has value to them as well. The next one, Verl, I'll be interested to hear what you think about it, but it took me 4 decades to say. It took me 4 decades to say that I'm important. And the only way I can serve other people is to make sure I'm taking care of myself. So our second culture value is self. It's that, Verl, what we talk about on the airplane, right? You put that oxygen mask on yourself first. But when it became really clear to me as I was driving down the road with my 21-year-old daughter, and she looked over me and she said, "You know what, Mom, what does self-care mean?" And I thought, wow, how did I miss that? And so it has been a struggle of my 40s to define that for myself, and in my 50s to take a stand for myself and the people that I work with and that are on my team, that I'm important. And if I can't say that from this place of care, certainly not manipulation, but care, what am I demonstrating to them?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head when, first of all, your personality type is to make sure everybody gets taken care of, even if it's your own expense. Yes. And you spent a lifetime taking care of other people, and you came to a time in your life where you decided that, oh my gosh, I can't help anybody else anymore until I feel like I'm whole. And so I think that it's really important that you identified that. And a lot of people who are successful in real estate have that mentality of serve regardless of opportunity, even at the expense of themselves or their families or their faith or their friends. And we have to take care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't be instruments, if you will.
And it's such an and conversation, and it's an important conversation that we have. And so I have to do a better job of surrounding myself with people that have my back, per se. Our next culture is family. So when we're time blocking or we're using these pieces, it really is your family next. And so we've built a culture within our team of collaboration and support. And I've got your back. Something's happening with your kids, I'm going to cover for you. And I can't, this picture, I love this picture. So on the right-hand side, Christina Sherman right there. She's my very first buyer's agent on my second attempt. She came out of Target. She was a very culture-driven person. And so it was important. And I think these values that we're talking about, this mission and this vision, was why she came to the team. And I'm so proud. She now is a single agent, has 2 incredible kids, and is killing it in real estate. So, and then Mike Harden has been with me for decades. He's amazing there. He is a family man. And when you ask Mike why he does business, it's to be the grandfather that he didn't get to have. And so family's really important to him. And then Katie's a single mom that's loving on her daughter and doing an incredible job. And I'll tell you that family was very important to each and every one of them. And they are some of the most talented people in the industry. And then the third is business. And of course, as entrepreneurs, I don't care if you're on a team or not, you're still running your own business. You're offered support around you. I usually say this, I say teams don't exist to feed agents. Agents exist to feed teams. We are only as healthy as each team member. So everyone independently understanding that we're entrepreneurs in this business, and we use teams for leverage. And so their business is the most important thing. And when that's healthy and they're doing money-making activities and they're following systems and they have levels of accountability, then they can really grow the team. And so that's what our formula is to the success that we've had over the last 7 years.
That's kind of interesting. Most I would say most people think of that opposite of how you described it, that they believe that the team's role is to feed the team member, not it's the team member's role to feed the team. I hope everybody caught that. Did you guys catch that? Anybody else hear that different? Like that's a different perspective. I'd like to know more about what that means to you. Like what is the team member contributing to the team to feed the team?
Yeah. Well, so, and I'll tell you, a lot of what you're hearing from me today has grown exponentially over my relationship with Workman Success. And, Burl and I started in a speakers camp that I got invited to, and I immediately realized I was in a different level of professional. And Burl, I'll forever remember our conversation in the lobby when you cared so much to challenge my model, to challenge, you were okay, but could I actually articulate and take a stand for the things that I believed? And what I found is that I was wavering, right? That you were absolutely right, that the systems that I had, although they had brought me a great deal of success, they could not scale and move forward. And so the very first thing that I had to look at is that I am a member of the team. And so the beliefs that I had at that moment had to be challenged. And many of them I kept, many of them passed the test. But there were some very critical things that in our conversations and then continued conversations with Jim Knowlton and my coach and other coaches around this organization. Last night, I needed some support. And so I called Ann Koch, and she fed into me. And so I think that when we start talking about team, I had to challenge, was I being the leader that I said I was? And so it started there for me. Instead of, I might have been in an ivory tower a little bit. I might have thought that things were outside of me. And over the last few years, I think me growing as a human, as a leader, as a woman, as a contributor has been very important. And then from that point, recognizing that you don't earn a spot on a team, right? It's not earned. It is this spot which says that, we're all in this together. And the reason that mindset and systems and accountability are so important is that there is one voice. And so that team member coming in and making it through our culture, our vision, our mission, our values, our culture, and saying, I'm that person, is a conduit to make sure I make the right hire first. And so we talk about slow to hire, fast to fire. And so the pictures that you're seeing on the screen right now is our team doing just the fun things, the family things that we do. But we took time in hiring the right people on the team that believe in what we're doing, why we exist. Our team believes that we have a moral obligation. Every one of us believe we have a moral obligation to the people we serve and to each other.
All right. So Denise, when I listen to you talk, it sounds like it's always been easy. You've always been able to find people that fit the culture, and they've always been wonderful. Have you had any challenges in building your team? Has it been hard in the process?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. First thing that was what made it the hardest, when I didn't have a system, when I didn't have a way, right? It was just hit and miss if they came in and it felt right. And so I had to create a system of how we hire. And so we have a very specific pre-ADT. When I don't follow the systems, and the systems fail, by the way, but when I hire off of emotions versus facts, I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. So I'm probably higher than most people. I'll interview 10 to 12 people before I'll find one. And the interview may not be what you're thinking. So I was just at Fire Rock, and we had this incredible server. She was extraordinary, Burl. I know you would have hired her too. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about getting into real estate? Because it's first who, then what? And you could just see in the 2 hours that we were together that we shared a common interest, and that's that service piece. And so I'll bring someone in that way, and I get it wrong more often than I get it right, but the system protects it. The system of how we hire, then Jim Knowlton, revenue, those things, they protect me more. But I've certainly hired people that haven't made it past the first 3 days. I've hired people that took advantage of me. I hired people that weren't willing to do the things that they said, but I believed so much in them, I kept them too long. So I've certainly hired people that haven't made it, but on my team, I have 5 core people that have been with me for more than 4 years and a couple of them decades. And so not everyone's meant to stay with me forever, but
Yeah,
I'm
right.
always looking for that one.
What I think is interesting is that we talk about having the systems and having a great coach and that it's all going to be easy and you're going to be able to
No.
build your team. You're not going to have any problems, but we don't talk about the problems enough. And I think other people sit here and wonder why they have problems when you don't seem to. But the reality is we all have problems.
We do.
And I see lots of heads nodding with me. Like, yep, I've been through that.
Is mine,
So,
can you see mine nodding? Yes.
and it's not whether or not we have problems. It's how we respond to them and whether or not we're able to move forward. What I've learned in all of my years of coaching and developing some of the most successful teams is that the more problems they have early on, the more resilient they become later. And that allows us to exponentially grow. But if they don't have challenges or problems early on, when something happens later on, it feels like the world's coming apart. And so, like, embrace the challenges. When you have one, like, it's like, yeah, come on, give me another one.
Yeah.
If there's no challenges, then nobody needs team leaders. If there isn't problems, they don't need coaches. And so instead of saying, why is it a bad thing? Or why does this always happen to me? Say, how am I going to deal with it a little bit differently? And I love your attitude towards that.
Well, I think that it's the same thing that I think about real estate. I am 100% certain that I will be here decades from now because I embrace the problems that happen in real estate. Every time that there's a significant problem that comes up with a purchase or with a sell, my approach on it is good thing they hired me because I'm the one that's going to solve it. I believe it's the same thing on the team. The hiring process is the most important. And what I've learned so much from workmen is how important setting the foundation is. And so, everyone on this team. And again, I don't want to miss the opportunity with single agents that are on this team on this call for you to ask yourself, what are your standards? What are your expectations? If we don't make it in real estate, we're getting a job, right, Burl?
Right.
And then we're going to do for someone else what we're unwilling to do for ourselves. You would never walk in and go to work with Workman Success without a job description, would you?
No.
Standards that need to be, all of that. And what you're saying, well, I'm willing to do that for $50,000. Well, we're sitting here with an opportunity. If you're willing to know what your team standards are, what your expectations of yourself and follow through, you have an opportunity to make 200, 300, 400,000. But I'm not sure we're telling people the truth about what does it mean to be a real estate agent. And it is probably different than what you think when you're first getting in the business. So telling people the truth about what it is to be a business owner. And the very first one is lead conversion. That's what it is. The job description, I don't care how smart you are, if you don't have the ability to have significant conversations about real estate, deliver value so that someone says, I want to work with you, the level of success that you will experience will be lower. And by the way, that is a learned skill. Often people think that it's something that they bring, that they have to have. I believe some of the best people are people that have dug in and that over time have developed these traits.
All right. So you hire good people, you got them
Yep.
with you 4 or 5 years,
Yep.
you're kicking butt and taking names, business is growing. Is that when you take your foot off the gas and let them do whatever they want, or do you continue to have structure in your team?
Do you see my face? Does this look like someone that takes their foot off the gas? No, actually, we're going to put more because we have momentum behind us now. So this is the time to really accelerate your business. And this is when you lean into these systems more and more. We have 4 basic systems that we use within our business. And I don't just talk about these systems. I use these systems like everybody else, because when I use the system, it gets me more bang for my buck in less time. period. I get to do more things. But when I say, oh, I've got this figured out, so I'm going to just go do my own thing. Well, you know what happens to my business, Pearl? It doesn't respond the same. It's like our systems are the oxygen to our business, just as if the oxygen to our lungs as a human being. These systems have to be integrated continually and moved. And when you talk to the top producers in our industry that are building businesses that I'd be proud to own, they are saying the very same thing. They continue to lean in with systems because systems really are a predictable source of business.
Absolutely true. So let's talk a little bit about, I want to get into some accountability.
Okay.
Everybody views accountability differently. And I view accountability different today than I did even 2 years ago.
Sure.
We used to talk about accountability as, you gotta toe the line, you got to do your 61 points, you got to do these things. And today we try and create a culture where people choose accountability. For those of you that don't know Denise, I'm talking to Denise, how many of you believe that she's a pretty strong individual? Like she knows what she wants, she's going to get it, right? So for Jim, who's also a master coach, to try and hold her accountable, it's not going to happen. She has to choose it. As good as he is as a coach, he can't make her do anything she doesn't want to do. Is that true, Jim? Did you learn that through experience the hard way?
Yeah, when you have people that have succeeded in business to a certain level, whatever that level is, they need to be challenged to look at things differently. You're not teaching them to sell real estate, or even in some cases, other parts of their business, they might be great recruiters. What you're trying to do is shift the paradigm that what they think the limits are, what they think got them there is not really what got them there.
For sure. Well, and I think that with Jim, what has accelerated my coaching and as a team leader, what I look to grow people in as well is just this surrender, right? That I have such trust and faith that he has demonstrated over time that he has my best interest. When he asked me to do something today, way different than the first year, by the way. But now there's a sense of surrender that says, he cares about me. He can see things differently. I need a coach more than ever in my life today. But I think the most effective type of coaching, and for each of us that are coaching other people, is to earn the trust and respect of the people that we are with, such that they have a surrender to them that says, I'll at least try that. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result.
So Denise, you want to share your screen and show us some of the things you do from an accountability perspective?
Yeah.
I just want to get into it. I want to let's just roll up our sleeves and let's see how she does it. You guys cool with that?
All right, let's do a screen share. I'm going to show a couple of things. So which screen are you seeing?
We're seeing your Asana board.
Awesome. So when you are getting into the real estate business, the first thing that we want to do, and we want to know, why are you here? Why are you in business? I cannot tell you how critical it is to lean into the why. And the more significant that is, the more someone owns that, you'll be able to use that as jet fuel as we start talking about this accountability. The next thing is, why now? I would write that down if I were you. Why now? I have seen people with very significant whys not take action. And the reason that they don't take action is they don't see a sense of urgency today. I'm not saying it's not urgent, but we need to connect these two dots. So to even start to get to these next steps that we're going to be going to without the why and the why now, you will lack the jet fuel when things get tough, because it's going to get hard. And tell everybody that. If, where I'm at in my business today, I have broken through a level of success, and now I'm building again. And so Jim better know what it's going to take for me to get what I want, because I will forget. I will forget when it gets hard. And mindset is so critical. Mindset is the element that we don't spend enough time talking about, that we really need to, because it's the barrier. It's the biggest barrier we have to success. So we're going to go into, if you are part of Workman Success, we're going to go into the resource library. We're going to do the strategic plan, which is really a life plan. It's so important. I was married for 32 years, and 4 years ago, I got divorced. And so I had to build a new strategic plan, a reason that I existed. I have never done it as effectively as I did it in the Workman Success. Then from there, we're going to build a business plan. So one of my favorite systems out there is Asana. I hope it changes your life the way that it has changed mine. So write that down. I remember when I first heard about it, I'm like, Asana, and Mike Harden was there, and we have 7 years later used it for everything from grocery lists to budgets to packing and to our business. So we then take that business plan that we built through the resource library and we put it in something that you can look at every single day. Right? That is a critical piece, is keeping this in front of us. So we always know what our job description is. We keep this is Allie Orsi's, by the way. We keep her why in front of us, her why now. How does she need to be? What does she need to do? And all of our team can see Allie's business plan. Within our culture, it is acceptable to challenge each other on what we said that we wanted. Then we go into our Workman Success systems. And once again, the more you lean into something, shocking, Verl, it gets more effective. Come to find out I'm the problem. So surprising. And then on each of our team members, we need to make sure that they have personal goals. Like what, it isn't just about business, and how do I support them in those things? Then we use the 10 things to be on our team to always remember what does it mean to be a team member in front of us. And then we break down our 4 pillars of income. So Allie's for this year were referrals. We use a 12-week business plan. So this is first quarter. You can't do anything different. If you want to do something different, we'll talk about it and you can put it in your next. But what happens is when something doesn't give us immediate results, what do we want to do?
Change.
We want to do something
Try
different.
something different.
Yeah, so we're going to say for 12 weeks, we're not going to do this. So yesterday in our team meeting, we pulled up everyone's business plan and they got to rank themselves. If I remember correctly, Allie ranked herself at a 3 on the execution of her business plan, which when we open up in Sisu, we're going to see she's right. She is at a 3. Through some coaching, I might, challenge a few of her thoughts, but it doesn't really matter. That's what she thought. That's her point A currently. And so she's going to get sent out 1 client business referral every week. And this is the 5 strategies under here that she's going to do. Then in lead conversion, what she's going to do in that, generate 4 contracts through lead conversion by March 31st. Mojo 1 hour a week, door knock 2 hours a week, add people to our database, face-to-face meetings with SOI. And once again, what I want to remind everyone is this is a trail. There are going to be times that you get off, times that you get on. But the reason we build this is so we can get back on as soon as quick, as fast as we can. This should be delivered with great empathy. This should be delivered with great understanding. And there are times that this needs to be delivered with virile type love that says, are you sure this is what you really wanted? It's okay. But Viral asks me to commit and others around him to commit over and over and over and over to the same things when we get off trail. So that's what this piece looks like for us. Then to our SOI, this is what we're doing for our business as far as leads that we provide. So you can see with our agents, they have 3 lines of business that they are building, and I have 1. So 25% of the opportunities I provide for them, 75% they provide for themselves, because really, Viral, why are they here? They're here to build a business that will thrive in any economic environment.
Right.
And it can't be single. So that's what we do in our business plans. Any questions on that, Viral, before I move over to Sisu?
All right, so hope everybody understands this. So this is taking your basic tools, but putting them into a format that an agent can see their day in the life. Every day they know exactly what their goals are, what they said they committed to be on the team, what their 4 pillars of income are. I love it. It's really cool. And then it links out to the resources that they need to right inside the Asana board. And we're big Asana users at work as well. We have massive projects going on in Asana, and I never thought I was going to actually have to learn it, but I've had to, and it's been eye-opening. It's been great.
Yeah.
It just makes me so, I guess you just get stuff done without trying to remember it all.
It's funny. So Kay, who you were talking to, she's my new VA. She's extraordinary. And we're training in a virtual environment. And I will tell you, Asana has been a critical component to that. So I encourage you. And if anyone ever wants to know about Asana and how to use it in real estate, I'm happy to talk to them about that. So once a week at the very minimum, Burl, they're going to look at this. The goal is that they open this every day. And while I'm here, I might bring your attention to the top of my board. This is how we open our business. So everyone on our team knows that they're looking at Asana every day. This is Team Up. So in Team Up, I'm looking at Allie's calendar. Allie has in here our team and her own commitments. So in here, it has our team huddles, no appointments for lead conversion time. So we build that into a team. We use Team Up. There's lots of other systems out there. I'm not so committed to the system name as I am that there is a system. And so let me give you an acronym for system as we're talking through it. So a system is going to save you significant time, energy, and money. Anything you do 3 times, anything needs to be put into a system, and a system does not exist unless it's in writing. And it would be really surprising to people to know that I am a high D. I'm what's called single modal. I know, Burl, that's not surprising to you. But systems aren't my thing. There's something that I learned. If I'm going to lead, I have to lean into. And so time blocking is a really big piece of what we do. And right now we're just asking people to time block 4 things, just 4 things. And so the very first thing is it goes right in line with our culture, right? So what did we say? God. So whatever that is for them, a morning routine, themselves, their family, their business, and then the team. That should be reflected in time blocking. Don't overtime block. You might for a day say, what am I doing every 30 minutes? But I find that people that overtime block give up too soon. So then we're going to go from our time blocking into Asana. And so this is how we actually do our recruiting is in here. However, I set a note for myself to switch over and I didn't. Whoops.
I just noticed you have a VW on your toolbar. That's kind of cool. Thank you for that.
Every day. Every day. Like, look, all these systems work when you work the system. That's just, oh, I know what's happening here. Have to be in the right team. So even with my coaching clients, Burl, we have teams in Asana that we work with that we share things back and forth. So I was just actually in one of our teams. So you'll see here Allie's projects for her business plans. You'll see we've been doing it for 2 years now. So Allie, that was her business plan as we laid it out. And then we go into Asana. So Asana is the biggest gift give that I think I've ever seen a company give, Burl. And it is the continual desire of workman success to lead people inch by inch, mile by mile, day by day into success. And so Sisu is going to take that business plan and now it's going to give us a picture. So I want you to make sure that you know that Sisu is not a CRM. It absolutely is not. It doesn't replace. So a CRM builds a relationship. In a CRM, I picture 2 funnels. There's a marketing funnel and there's a sales funnel. So a marketing funnel is going to be something that has unlimited numbers. You can collaborate with your business partners in that. It's totally educational and it is totally technology driven. And the purpose of that, one of the purposes, and it's not the only thing, is to drive into sales. And so your CRM is the place that we really can work these great funnels of business so that we can drive into our sales funnel. Sisu is the sales funnel. And we just had a really great conversation about that this morning, where I got the chance to be on a call with all Jim's coaching clients all over the United States. And we all want to just do one thing. We all want to move forward our businesses while still having a life worth living. Like that's what we're doing. And so it's the more we see things in writing, the more we document it, the more opportunity we have to do business easier. And how many of you want to do business easier? Just curious.
So tell me what you're looking at. Tell me what you're looking at here and how do you
Yep.
use this information?
Yep. So this is going to be our dashboard. So when I look at the dashboard, I'm going to go looking at the team. And so there's 3 things here. So I'm looking at my team. My scope is my team, although I can break this down, and I will break it down and go into Allie so you can see it. And then this is dates. The dates are powerful. You've all seen filters like this in your CRMs, other things like that. I think they're doing a better job of this than I've ever personally seen as far as ease of use. And so the very first thing that I'm doing that I want to take a look at is what's happening this month. And if it's okay, I'm going to show Allie. We just saw her business plan. So now let's take a look. So if we are team leaders, broker owners, one-on-ones are really important. It's why they exist. So I'm gonna bring this up in a one-on-one. I'm gonna bring, and then I'll show you what we do in the huddle. So in here, I can see for the month of February that she's closed 690,000. She has 2 closed transactions. We don't have these volumes updated yet as far as how that's going down. But when I click on that 2, it takes me to our closed transactions. And so I can see all the details of what's happening and where she is in that goal. We're looking at the things that we measure. And so 2 things that Workman Success is going to be able to provide for us is a lead tracker and a transaction tracker, the most critical information. I do have a independent account with Sisu, so I see things a little bit differently in here, but this is where we're going to get all of our leads inputted to. So here under buyer's appointments, when I click on a buyer's appointment, I can go in and see where is Allie at in her appointments. 3 things about Sisu that I value. Number 1, you cannot hide. So you cannot hide from Sisu. 1 or 2 things has happened. You've either not putting in the data, and let's talk about that, or you're putting in the data and 1 or 2 things is happening. You're hitting the goals you were looking for, or there's opportunities for us to see the gaps and coach to the gaps. So the sooner you can see where your gap is in the business, the bigger opportunity we're going to be able to make adjustments to get the goals. I mean, that to me is one of the biggest pieces. Now I can see here, she doesn't have any current listings, and based on what she has on a goal, that's a problem. So what do you think I'm talking to her about right now?
Activities to generate listings.
Activities to generate listings, money making activities. And I'm going to show you Sisu, but I want you to know in Workman Success, we have the same thing. They're called daily success habits. We record them in our dashboard in workplace. So not a big deal on that. It just looks a little bit different. So then here's our buyer's appointments and then buyer's sign. So I can see through the process right now in the month of February where she's at. In a click of a button, I can move anywhere I want. Now let's talk about the really most important things, in my opinion, is money-making activities. I know we come from an industry that wants to award the sales, which is great. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm more focused in the activities. Over time, if they do these activities, what are they going to get, Burl?
They're going to get predictable results.
Understood. So whether you're doing it through Workman Success, our workbench, daily success habit tracking, we have an amazing app on the phone that you can do it with. It doesn't matter what system it is, but it does matter that there's an objective and a goal. And I do think that Sisu does a great job in helping us see this. And so in the month of February, Allie needs 5 referrals to hit the goals that she set. We know that she needs to hit 44 hours of prospected time. She's only at 3. So yesterday we're having a conversation. What do we have to move out of the way, Allie? Because that has to happen no matter how much you have in escrow. The number 1 thing, and I'm so grateful in all my career, probably it's been said to me, but I didn't hear it until recently at Workman Success, 25 leads a month. What happens if you generate 25 leads a month, A, B, and C's, and please don't let them be 25 C's, but I'm okay with C's so long as you don't want to get paid for 6 months to 12 months. But what would happen in our business? So we have that conversation, but there's no metrics to measure it by. how do we support the people around us, myself included, in getting there? And so we have some challenges that we have going on tied to specifically this one. I'll show you in just a moment. Jim Knowlton and I had great conversation last week, and he always asks me hard questions, Virl, just so you know. The ones that he knows I'm not going to have the answers to, I prefer the ones I'm going to have the answer to. But even like when you asked me the question about, compliant and tiered, like I gave my honest answer, which gave you an opportunity to say, here's the Workman way, another way to do it. So instead of coming up with this defensive mode, I can come up with, oh, that's interesting. Right. And
Yeah,
that
really, so I'm looking at your board and I see so many things right here. So just can I point a couple things out?
I'd love to.
So I have an agent that's prospected 3 hours so far this month
Mhm.
and has one referral that's come in, but is underperforming from the number of contracts she has, the number of listings she has.
Mhm.
So she doesn't have that many buyers. She doesn't have any sellers. So the question is to get her to recognize what is she doing all day?
Yep.
Right. And it's okay, but she's had 10 buyer appointments, which I think is really great. If she's had 10 buyer appointments and got 5 buyer agreements signed, that's really great. So that's a 50% ratio right there. There's so much data here. She's stopping by people in her top 50. She hasn't shown any homes, which I'm trying to figure out what the deal is with that. If I have 5 buyer contracts, how am I not showing houses?
There's one answer to that.
No inventory?
No, not inputting data.
Oh, you're not putting the data in. I was going to say, because
Yeah.
your job is, if you're going to sign them on a contract, your job is to find them inventory,
Yeah.
regardless of whether it's listed or not. So these are all things that at a glance as a leader that you should be able to pull up on any one of your agents and give them immediate feedback. So tell me how you use this. How often do you review this with your agents? And do you do it one-on-one or do you do it as a group?
Yep. So every Tuesday we do it as a group. So every Tuesday they come in and we're at record to results. And so yesterday we spent 2.5 hours. So know that we're 30 days into actually implementation. And so what I'm excited about is progress, you guys. Like
Yeah.
progress. That they have anything in here says that they're doing something. And so I'm excited about that. And write this down. This is important. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. So they don't get to say to me, oh, I did that. Well, no, sorry. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. So this is what we're going to measure by. And so this is what we do. We created challenges. So this is where we're going to gamify the business. So Workman Success believes in fun, right? There's no doubt we have a lot of fun when we get together. We do some amazing things, and that's not things that I've done in my business. I've had way more of and my team's on here. They'll tell you that I've grown in this area, but more of a task-oriented leadership, right? That's more of, and surprise, it doesn't motivate people quite as much as we would like. So within Sisu, it's allowed me to bring some fun. So what I want when you're doing any type of gamification, the first question you're going to ask yourself is, what is the outcome you want to create? Right? So what's the outcome you want to create? The second is, why is it important in creating revenue in your company? Why is it important in creating revenue in your company? Because at Workman, we always lead with revenue. So we don't want to overcomplicate these, but in the gamification, you can only measure one thing at a time. So what I told you is that the objective is for this particular one is to create 25 leads a month. Never in the history of my company has that happened, Virl. Never. But that was the outcome this was going to create. And why is that important? It is the most important thing to their business today and in the future. And so this was the first, we have a cruise at the end of the first quarter. So our number one person will win in points. If there's a tie, there'll be a raffle, and we'll do it. We'll do it again. So this was kicking and screaming. Let me just tell you, I was most committed to make sure that this happened for my team. So if you are a leader, I want you to know that you have to be more certain than anyone else around you about the outcomes you're going to create on your team. The things that I don't inspect do not get done. I roll something out, I don't measure it, it falls off. doesn't create results. So this was 4 of our teams, and Ashley Johnson has a half in our team because she does other things for us. So we have 4 leaders currently in this one. So now we go in, check this out, Verl, see what you think about this. So now I go in and I have February's. So when we do, I apologize, when we do our huddle every morning, this is the very first thing we look at is this piece. So what does this say? We are currently at the 9th of the month. Allie has 7 leads, Mike has 5, Karina has 3, and we just go down the list. So again, once not from shame, but hey, exciting you did this, and now what else? Now also we can go back into Sisu, we can click on their leads and we can see if they're nonsense or not. We can see if they're the real deal because they have to fill out a complete form that gives us all this information for us to count it as a lead, which means you know if it's an A, B, or C. If you don't know if it's an A, B, or C, it doesn't qualify because it means you haven't had a significant conversation about real estate. And so this is our cruising into it. The next thing, we have one more contest that we're running this month that I'm super excited. It's our daily success habits. And I'm measuring that a little bit different versus number of points. We are redoing this. This should say nothing. There should be nobody on here actually. And what we're saying is how many days a month does someone hit 61 points of rhythm or more? So I don't really care about under 61 points because I'm wanting to create an activity that Jim and I have proven that getting to 61 points of rhythm is not hard, that you can do it with 3 hours of activity in a day. No problem. So what I want to do is create an environment where people get 61 points of rhythm over time. And that's why this exists. So this is how we start our team there. And then we're going to just do one more thing and then we're going to be done. We're going to go into our transactions and we're going to see where we are as a team. You know, what is happening? We said this before, the team doesn't win, right? The team doesn't win if all agents aren't participating. And so who's participating? Super easy. We can come over here. I can go by agent. I can come up here into my filters. I can easily go through a scope. Let's just look at what's happening in Allie's business, just wanting to stay with one person. I can come down because we have a drop down menu of A, B, and C's, which I know everyone has on this call. I click this button. I say, how many A's does Allie have? I hit the filter. And now these are all the A's that are in Allie's business, what's happening. And so that's how we use Sisu. Those are the main systems that we are using. Then obviously, one thing about Sisu that is being worked on is, you know, what's the most important thing that you want to do? What is it? Lead tracker, transaction tracker, lead tracker, transaction tracker. And the way that Workman is rolling it out is the perfect way. I'm about 90 days in front of you guys in the rollout that we're rolling out right now. But what do we need to know about moving someone's business forward? What leads are they working on? And how have those leads turned into transactions that are revenue in the company? So that's our systems of accountability that we use.
What do you guys think? As Denise takes you through that, how many of you are like, yeah, I want that? Anybody else besides like get excited about like all of the resources and seeing what's going on with your team? I'm looking for some love. Let Denise know that you appreciate her sharing and all that. Denise, thank you for that. I'm going to share a couple of things. One is that you talked about working your sphere, and that's our top 50 tracker. We talked about daily huddle and making sure that you're huddling every day. And then once a week, going through the detailed numbers. Talk a little bit about leverage.
Oh, I am so excited about leverage. So leverage is an opportunity for leaders to come together with their team, single agents as well. And there is a environment within Workman Success that says, wisdom of the crowd. And Verl, you talked about that in the beginning. We are going to have breakouts at leverage. So team leaders will go into one track. Buyer's agents will go into another track. Client care coordinators into another one. So we're going to train independently. They're going to have the chance, your teams are going to have the chance to work with other team members at all different levels all over the United States. And this is what I'll tell you is that success in real estate translates state by state by state. So to be able to work with someone from Minnesota all the way to Arizona or to Las Vegas, they're going to be sitting side by sides with people that are being successful. And I don't know why this is, but I think Jim says this: you can't be a prophet from your own country. I can say the same. I can say the same thing, but Verl says it. All of a sudden, it is gospel. It has come down from the mountaintop. And so at Leverage, we are going to look at it together holistically. How do we move forward our businesses at every part of the organizational chart?
Well, we're excited to see you in Salt Lake City. It's going to be fun. It's in Salt Lake, so our whole team will be here. Normally, we're traveling somewhere, so the whole Workman team will be there. It's at the Grand America Hotel. It's a phenomenal venue. Come and come ski and enjoy Salt Lake. Team games are on the first day. We have phenomenal presenters and speakers. And then the last thing I'm going to share with you is that as we wrap up today, and there's a couple questions, so I'll stay on for just a minute.
Sure.
But we want to give you a few things. If you don't have access to these things, your 8651, how to close 86 transactions a year, working with 50 people 1 hour a day, working your top 50. That is one of the staples of Workman success
Amen.
systems. It just works. The top 50 tracker and how we track it, the daily huddle agenda. And then if you don't have a Workman coach yet, sign up for a strategy session. Just meet with one of my people, sit down with them and have a conversation with them. We'll decide whether or not it's a good fit for us to work together. We'd love to have you have a conversation with us and see if we can help you out. Denise, so a couple questions. How many agents on your team?
So currently, I have 8 agents and we have 3 admins. So a transaction coordinator, a project manager, and an admin directly for me. But what's interesting is you may or may not, 2 of our teams are, one's out of Boise and one's in Salt Lake City. So Tanner Wiest on our team a year ago decided to move to Boise. Using technology and a showing assistant here, he did 19 transactions. So COVID's allowed us to think very differently about how we do real estate. So that's how it happens.
The borders have kind of gone away.
They have.
Denise, I want to say thank you from all of us at Workman Success. Thanks for being part of our family. Thanks for being so willing to share how you're running things with your team and blow people away with Asana, and how you're incorporating Sisu into your business and taking the things that we teach you and leveling them up. So I love that you do that. So thank you for from all of us. I want to wish you all a great week. Thanks for being here. See you all at Leverage in just a couple months. Bye, everybody.